All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Like I said, today we're going to be going over some tax year-end prep. I know it's only November the 13th, but January and December is a really, really big time for us. So we want to make sure that we're well equipped and ready to rock and roll for year-end, and then ultimately getting W-2s out. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started here. My name is William Redmond. I'm the COO here at Payfluence, and also on the presentation we have one of our tax specialists, Sky Finney. So. Um, go ahead and dive in here. The first thing that we want to go over really quickly are some couple key dates. So we've got some holidays, and then we've got some high level deadlines that we want to share with you guys. So first, our offices are going to be closed for both Thanksgiving and then also the day after Thanksgiving, so Black Friday, as well as Christmas Day and the day after Christmas, the 26th. So the way that Christmas falls this year is on a Thursday, so we'll be taking the 26th off as well, and then obviously New Year's Day. Okay. Key deadlines. So I'm going to go over these really quickly. We've got December 17th is the S Corp special payrolls deadline, which is going to be anybody that's designated as an S Corp. If you have to get the 2% shareholders added to your W-2 in box 1, and on the state side, we want to make sure that we get that input into the payroll prior to December 17th, if possible. This is a number that I would expect that you can work with your CPA to get. So I would go ahead, and if you are designated as an S Corp, to go ahead and proactively reach out to them and see what your numbers are going to be for 2025. The second deadline we have is December 19th. This is going to just be some miscellaneous payrolls. So, for example, if you need to add owner's bonuses for the end of the year, fringe benefits, any stock options that you want to get in, and any long-term disability as well.
Yes.
Okay. And next one we have is December 23rd. That's going to be the personal use of company car and third-party sick pay deadline. So the personal use of company car, I would expect that you would want to. I'm sorry, was I not sharing my screen, Rick?
You were not.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys. So yeah, like I said, December 23rd, we'll have the personal use of company car and third-party sick pay. You'll be able to get the personal use of company car calculations, I would imagine, from your CPA, and then ultimately your third-party sick pay. You would get that from your short-term disability or long-term disability carriers. All right. Next slide, we'll move forward. The next slide, we're going to go over just some year-end preview reports that will give you guys the ability to go ahead and proactively start previewing your W-2s and really just prepare for year-end as a whole. So I'm going to go over just in a high level really quickly what these reports are going to give you. So the employee W-2 preview, this is going to give you everything year to date that would show up if the year was to end as of today, how your employee's W-2 would show up. It's not going to give you the actual format of the W-2. It's going to be in more of like an Excel format and much smaller than like a massive 8.5 by 14 piece of paper, but it'll give you all of your employees, and it's a great preview there. Next one I have is the employee W-2 verification. So you're going to want to make sure that all of your employees have the correct social. We want to make sure that we don't have to do any W-2Cs if possible for 2025, because ultimately that can just cause delays for the employee in getting their year-end forms submitted with their income tax returns. Next one we've got is the tax ID and rate verification report. So just a quick report where you can go in and just make sure you've got all of your tax IDs up to date along with your rates for 2025. Following one is going to be the year-end exception report. So if you have any discrepancies with Medicare or Social Security or any taxes or anything like that, that's going to show up there. The intent for that report would be to be blank. So if you've got a blank report, you're in good shape. Last one we want to go over is the W-2 and 1099 employee list. So this is going to give you all of your expected employees that are going to receive both a W-2 and then ultimately a 1099 if you guys process your 1099s with us and through us. Okay, so if you have any questions or want to go over anything specifically from these reports, please reach out to your customer service specialist. And these reports, like it shows you at the very bottom of the page here, it will those reports will be removed from the payroll preview reports and then also the report archive after the end of the year. So these reports are going to show up by default from November the 1st through 12/31/2025. Okay, let's keep moving forward here, Remick. We've already gone over just high level what these due dates look like, but just to kind of reiterate the year-end special payroll. So like I mentioned, if you're an S Corp designation, you want to make sure that you get that information in. Any miscellaneous bonuses, we'll get that in on the December 19th, and then personal use company car, third-party sick pay on the 23rd, along with any bonus payrolls that go along with that as well. We'll send a follow-up email with instructions from our YouTube page on how to set up and process year-end bonuses. But if you do have ultimately any questions, you can reach out to your customer service support specialist. Okay. And then the last slide that we have for you guys today, let's move forward here, Remick. So preparing for 2026. So states have already started sending out their state unemployment rate updates for 2026. I know specifically Arkansas and Wisconsin have done that. South Carolina, I expect to publish those in the next couple of days. So last year they sent them out on November the 15th. And when you guys receive these updates and these notices, please just forward them along to us. Don't be alarmed by the mailings from the agencies. There's nothing wrong. It's just simply an update for 2026. And we'll want to make sure that we get these updates in the system prior to the first payroll processing in 2026 so we can ensure that you guys are paying and we are ultimately pulling in taxes at the right rate for state unemployment and then also paying them out to the state agencies at the correct deposit frequencies. South Carolina, it doesn't really matter as much specifically for the deposit frequencies for the withholdings. It just follows the federal, but there are states like Georgia, North Carolina that are very, very adamant on making sure that we get the tax deposited at the correct deposit frequency, that being semi-weekly, monthly, or quarterly. So we want to make sure that we get those as soon as possible. If you ever have any questions on whether to send it to us or not, please just send it to us anyways. If we don't need it, we'll let you know, hey, this is just, for corporate taxes or whatever. If you ever have any questions before sending us anything, just go ahead and send it. We'll always just tell you if we don't need it. I'd much rather receive it and not need it than not receive it and actually need it in the long run. Okay, so we've gone over quite a bit fairly quickly. So going over the year-end preview reports and year-end special payrolls and then preparing for 2026. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, Remick, I see that you have put this in the chat. Feel free to speak up and ask any question. We'll leave it open for a second or two to give you guys the ability to ask questions. I guess just to reiterate on the state unemployment, we will go out and proactively get your unemployment rates, but please send us those letters just so that we can document them and have them on file. Depending on the state agency, we may or may not have the ability to grab the actual paper copy, and we always like to have the paper copy on file for each year just in case something comes up with the state in terms of them questioning what's deposited or what ends up being filed. So like I said, just to reiterate, if it's a piece of paper and you don't know what it is, go ahead and send it to us. If we don't need it, we'll let you know. All right. Well, great. Well, Remick, if there aren't any questions, we'll move on to the most exciting part of the meeting, and that's the giveaway. Okay, so we do have one quick question from Lori. So Lori, yes, there are times when short-term disability and long-term disability carriers don't provide those statements until after the end of the year. If that's the case for you specifically, we'll just put your company on a year-end hold status. That way, we can make sure that we hold those W-2s from processing and printing until we get the third-party sick pay from the STD and the LTD carriers. Okay. Obviously, we want to try to get the information in as soon as possible so employees can get their W-2s as soon as possible. But there are situations where we'll have to put companies on hold to make sure that we're able to fully encompass all the data for 2025, and sometimes we're at the mercy of CPAs and insurance carriers in this case. So we're happy to have some one-offs and holds, but but we try to limit those when possible. Great question. Okay. All right, Remick. Now for the fun part. Thank you guys for joining us. We have our giveaway.